Hi, everybody. I'm really glad that you're here. And before we get into me explaining syllabi or assignments or the content in this course, I wanted to take a moment to speak to you as a human being first, not as a professor and a student. And you may hear my dogs bark because I'm at home filming this. Higher education as a system doesn't always work the way it promises. It was largely designed for a very narrow version of student. Someone with time, who had financial support, really predictable schedules, and few competing responsibilities. And many of you are navigating a life that looks different than that. You might be a really busy dual credit student who's in a ton of extracurriculars. You might be an adult student with responsibilities. You may be working a complete full-time job, caring for a parent, a child, or even a family member. You could be returning to school after a very long gap. And so managing health challenges, stress, anxiety, grief, burnout. Some of us on a day-to-day basis are really just surviving life, right? So I want you to know I know that's a reality. And I want to be really clear. Struggling in a system that was not built with your life in mind is not personal failure, not in any way whatsoever. And it's not a character flaw. And it doesn't mean you don't belong here, because you do belong here. So at the same time, I also believe absolutely ferociously in your capacity to learn, to grow, to succeed. We're going to have some really clear boundaries, expectations, work that's meaningful to your life right now. And because I respect you too much to offer any less, it's going to be structured with care, transparency, and flexibility when it matters. My goal is not to catch you doing something wrong. My goal is to support you in developing lifelong skills, confidence, and communication. Oh my gosh, my husky. Communication tools that you're going to use long after you're out of my classroom. But I hope you always come back and let me know how you're doing. You don't have to be perfect here. You should not be afraid of failure. There's going to be a lot of things I ask you to do that are going to require some courage on your part. And I'm going to make sure that you have a platform from which to do it that feels really safe, where you don't feel like you're risking your grades to do it. I don't know what you've been told about what an imaginary college student looks like. All I need you to do is to show up, to engage with your authentic self as you can. Ask me questions when you're unsure. Be a little patient with me because I'm also a live human being who struggles. And communicate with me when you have struggles. This classroom is supposed to be a place where you get to practice human learning, and let's emphasize the human. So, mistakes are a part of the learning process. They're not a source of shame. Effort matters, and your voice matters to me. I can't fix everything that's broken everywhere, but in this course, I can promise that I'm going to give you clarity, fairness, respect, and compassion. I can promise I will treat you as a capable adult with a complex life. And I can promise that if you're willing to meet me halfway, I'm going to walk along beside you in this process. I'm genuinely glad you're here, and I'm looking forward to learning with you this semester. So, I'm also going to let you know that this semester, you're going to start the semester with 3 grace tokens. That means that at any time during the semester, if you can't complete an assignment and you need a little extra time before it's due, you're going to have 3 grace tokens. You can burn one, You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to explain to me what happened. I don't need photos. No one in your family has to pretend to die. You just get these because you're you, and you can use them whenever you need them. Okay? And in the student demographic form that I ask you to fill out, I ask you a few questions about your life, whether you work full time or even part time, whether you're a caregiver. If you have any situations, please let me know, because I'm even more adaptable for people who have those types of life circumstances. I'm really excited to have you as my student. Once you're my student in one of my courses, you're my student forever. And if you ever need help, you are more than welcome to call on me for any advice, recommendation letters, anything I can do to help you out. I will always do to the best of my ability. Okay? And if you have, when you get into the class and you start glancing over all the content modules, if you have any ideas or any circumstances in your life where you're like, hey, I've got a really awful boss and I need to find some way to negotiate a better timing system for myself, I am happy to let you use something like that as an assignment in the course, or we can actually make it for everyone if we want to. But if you have anything where you need some help with communication, you let me know, okay? So reach out anytime. If for some reason I'm not answering you, make sure that you're emailing from your Brazosport College email account, okay? Especially if you're asking about grades or assignments. I look forward to getting to know you better. I'll talk to you soon.